The goal of this video is to become more aware of how the spectrum of a note changes over time. Sounds are made up of the combinations of sine wave components of different frequencies and amplitudes. The first audio sample here is of a sine wave, one single component at 440 Hz whose amplitude is constant. The tone of acoustic instruments changes over time. Notice how the next three samples share the same fundamental frequency of 440 Hz, but they have additional sine wave components called harmonics or overtones. What makes these sounds more interesting to the ear than the single sine wave test tone is that their spectra have more components that change over time. You can see the dynamic nature of the spectra by how each sine wave component changes independently from the others over the course of a note. The flute spectrum is the steadiest of the three instruments. About how many sine wave components does the display show for it? How do they change over time? Notice how the higher components of the piano lose energy faster than the lower components. When I was a child, I heard that the piano was categorized as a percussion instrument, which didn't make sense because I knew there were a lot of strings inside it. But the dynamic spectra analysis here confirms it. In the transient noise components at the start of the note, from 100 Hz to 2 kHz, caused by the hammer striking the string. How does the change in the amplitude of its individual components over the course of the note compare with those of the flute? The accordion sample has some constant background noise below 1 kHz. What do you think might be responsible for that in the construction of the instrument? Like the flute, its sine wave components are fairly stable. Which of the two has a richer tone caused by a higher number of components? Can you describe the tone of each of the four sounds using descriptive adjectives? Compare the dynamic spectra of these four samples with the vowels in video example 5.4. Their spectra are fairly steady, but there is still some fluctuation in tone over the course of each one. Ah, ah.